Today we're talking Claressa Shields. Today we're talking Papoose. And yes, we're back on Claressa Shields again. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly reaching out to one of Papoose's daughters, his stepdaughter to be specific, so she can promote getting a Snapchat. And I'm not gonna lie, that alone raised my eyebrow. It definitely caught my attention. But don't worry, we're gonna break all of this down. So here's the setup. Even though Claressa Shields has been posting on Snapchat, trying to give the impression that she's cooled off, that she's relaxed, that she's locked in and focused on training for her upcoming match, cue the background music and all of that, you know what I'm saying? There's still a lot going on behind the scenes. Allegedly, Remy Ma sent Papoose back to Claressa Shields so he could help train her for the fight. Basically like, go make that money, go back to work, do what you gotta do. And that work just so happens to be with Claressa Shields. So that allegedly happened. Then, out of nowhere, yesterday a post pops up on the Shade Room showing Papoose and Claressa Shields training. Quote-unquote training, right? And then today, there's even more content of them supposedly training again. And the main focus of all of this content isn't even the training. It's that custom-made $8 million boxing deal sign, y'all. That's what they want everyone to see. But I don't know about y'all, because allegedly, according to Miss Lowdown yesterday, there may be more to this so-called $8 million boxing deal. Allegedly, it might not actually be an $8 million boxing deal at all. The word on the street is that Claressa Shields may have received around $3 million, and allegedly Papoose may have received about $1.6 million. And on top of that, everything is supposedly contingent on Claressa Shields meeting the terms of the contract. That includes a certain number of fights, possibly an album, and allegedly even a number of battle raps or something along those lines. And if those terms aren't fulfilled, they could allegedly come back and accuse Claressa Shields of fraud. What? What? Because listen, it's very easy to put out a flashy press release. Anybody can do that. But if there are no receipts backing it up, and at the same time you're clearing out Louis Vuitton, Van Cleef, and every high-end designer brand in sight, you know what I'm saying? Why isn't there more thought being put into long-term financial literacy? What happens if the terms of the contract aren't fulfilled? What happens if something goes left in your boxing career? Where's the contingency plan? There seems to be this assumption that you're just automatically going to be embraced by the rap community. And I'm sorry, but that part is not adding up for me. Make it make sense. And then, Claressa Shields, like I said, while she's acting calm and collected on certain platforms, while she's pretending to be unbothered on Snapchat, now that Papoose is back in the picture, while she's reposting the Shade Room like, look at us, we're together, we're training, we're spending time, let's not forget that Papoose was basically AWOL when he was in New York. The same New York where his wife Remy Ma lives. The same New York where his other daughter lives. But now, all of a sudden, we're getting couple content again. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields is still very active on Twitter, still going back and forth with people. She's still arguing with Franchon Cruz, accusing Franchon Cruz of being jealous of her. And Franchon Cruz claps back saying, "How can I be jealous of you? Every time things don't go your way, you start posting prayers and talking about God. Blessings work for everyone, not just you. My blessings might have been delayed, but I'm not forgotten. I'm very blessed." Then Claressa Shields fires back with, "What does me posting prayers have to do with you? Are you jealous that I'm favored too? God blesses those who come to him and are obedient to his word. Nobody is perfect, but you're really losing it. What's not going my way? I'm having my way every single day." And I'm just sitting here like, what is really going on? So then there's somebody else who jumps in and basically tells Claressa Shields, since you want to be tagged so bad, that the constant capping and people-pleasing every few days is exhausting. The message was pretty blunt. Train for the fight, enjoy the build-up, enjoy pushing whatever narratives you want, but come February 22nd, don't play, because you're going to sleep on that ass again. Clearly more trash talk aimed at Franchon, especially with that press conference allegedly coming up on Friday. Then Claressa Shields tweets, "When the devil's plans backfire. Oop, y'all thought y'all did something. Psych."
And honestly, it's unclear what she's even referring to there, because at this point, the facts have pretty much laid themselves out. Around the same time, she was also clearly irritated about the chatter, first seen on Geisha 305's page, about ticket sales. The claim was that tickets allegedly weren't moving like that some radio stations in Flint and surrounding areas hadn't even released promotional tickets yet, no contests, no giveaways, and that there were concerns about the fight not selling out, with plenty of seats still available. Claressa responds on Twitter, calling someone crazy for talking about bad promotion, saying she and her team have never heard of that tickets are selling like crazy, that fans are excited, that superstars are excited. But again, no receipts, just statements. And when she says superstars, people are like, who? Boy? Kelly Price? Okay, but that doesn't really answer the bigger question. She then throws in, how would someone who ain't never headlined know anything about the boxing business? And this is the part Claressa Shields really seems to miss. Boxing is a small world. Adjacent industries are even smaller. Everybody talks. Everybody has sources. You don't have to be a boxer to know what's happening behind the scenes when people who are connected start whispering. That's how information moves. That's how leaks happen. So dismissing criticism just because it doesn't come from a headline fighter doesn't actually mean it's wrong. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Claressa Shields then decides to promote Papoose' daughter, Chanel. She posts on her Instagram story saying something like, "Oh shoot, my stepdaughter got her Snapchat. Go follow her," and tags her account. Next thing you know, the girl has over 6,000 followers. And that immediately reminded people of something Battle Truth mentioned recently, that allegedly, instead of supporting Remy Ma's interest in returning to battle rap or expanding her own moves, Papoose allegedly wanted Remy to focus more on his family. The claim was that he wanted her isolated, more immersed in his world and his people, rather than pursuing outside opportunities, getting out of debt, or making independent power moves. So when you look at Claressa Shields calling Papoose' daughter her stepdaughter, publicly promoting her social media, positioning herself like she's already embedded in that family structure, while there is still no finalized divorce, it raises eyebrows. Because now it's not just about a relationship, it's about access, influence, and placement. And at the end of the day, that's why so many people aren't buying the calm, rebranded version Claressa Shields is trying to present. The tweets are still spicy, the arguments are still happening, the narratives are still being pushed, and the optics, whether she likes it or not, continue to look messy. That's really what this all comes down to, and what really stands out to me is how suddenly the energy has shifted. After all this talk about Claressa Shields dragging Remy Ma, calling her all kinds of B's and names, and going hard on the internet, we still have not seen any real interaction between Claressa Shields and Remy Ma's husband's daughter until now. Now, all of a sudden, Claressa wants to promote Papoose' daughter. Right at the same time, people are talking about her more than ever. So let me guess how this went. Papoose comes back into town, sees that Claressa is getting traction, clicks, engagement, numbers, and he's like, listen, since you're pulling in all this attention, why don't you promote my daughter? Why don't you put my family on too so they can benefit from this as well? That's what it looks like. But Claressa Shields doesn't seem to recognize what this is really about, or how it comes off to other people watching. And what made it even more interesting is how Chanel responded. She replied something like, "Yep, finally," or whatever the response was, but she never acknowledged the stepdaughter label. And that part matters, because last time I checked, in order for someone to be your stepchild, wouldn't that mean you're actually married to their parent? I mean, am I missing something here? It's the same logic people use when they say, oh, that's hubby, or that's wifey, when there's no marriage involved. And here we have Claressa Shields calling someone else's child her stepdaughter, when again, Papoose is still legally married to Remy Ma, so technically speaking, Remy Ma is still Chanel's stepmother. Chanel is still Remy Ma's stepdaughter, legally, on paper. Nothing is changed. So what exactly are we doing here? That's what I'm trying to understand. I really want it to make sense how Claressa Shields thinks all of this mess, this public foolishness, this forced family dynamic with Papoose is somehow going to end in a fairy tale. Like she's going to ride off into the sunset, married to Papoose, living happily ever after with kids, while he is still legally married to Remy Ma, and I'll keep saying it every single time because facts matter. There are no receipts of a divorce. There is no divorce decree. Nothing has been finalized. No paperwork, no proof. And yet, this is how Claressa Shields is moving now that Papoose is back in town, now that Remy Ma essentially sent her husband back to work. That's all I'm saying. I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Watch.